just like you should.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm gonna take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
It's a bully, but we aren't afraid of a fight. It's elusive, but our focus never fades. It's deadly, but we were born to defeat cancer. You may not have heard of us, but our work has helped millions impacted by cancer. We are the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. We are leaders in advancing breakthroughs in immunotherapy, genomics, and personalized medicine. This research saves lives. After 65 years of fighting blood cancers, we've arrived at a game-changing belief. The cures for cancer are in our blood. The drugs and treatments we've developed for blood cancers have helped people affected by many different types of cancers. We are the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Beating cancer is in our blood. Learn more at LLS.org.
Celebrating 5 years of broadcasting history. WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DN Marianna, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Transmission starts in 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting from the Rib Crib Radio Room. The Afternoon Underdogs are taking your calls live. 850-215-6290. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
We are live. We're inside the Rib Crib Radio Room. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida here in Panama City. If you're north up 231 around the Jackson County, Bay County line, we're on 102.1 FM in Marianna. We're also streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and with our TV partner, Blab TV. If you don't have them through your TV service provider, you can get their app or channel on your Fire Stick, TV, or Roku. Be sure to like and share the Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and download the app and register. Great place to win prizes, all at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. I messed up my whole entire intro because I wanted to open it up with, hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good evening to you wherever you may be. We've got Brian Haddad in the building. Tyler Bishop is with us as well. I'm David Hayes. Vin Scully, the iconic LA Dodgers broadcaster, has passed away at the age of 94. Brian, one of your favorite broadcasters, give
Absolutely.
us some Vin Scully stories here.
Well, he just feels like everybody's grandfather. He just had that soothing voice that you just love to hear. And, he's the only person I know that, could be screaming and yelling and still sound smooth. I mean, it was unbelievable. I was telling you before the show went on the air, I might be one of the few people on earth who likes his call of Gibson's home run better than Jack Buck's, because that's the one I identify with. I remember listening to it live, and what was so great about it wasn't just the call, which was phenomenal, and then he comes back with in a season of the improbable, the impossible has happened, which is just a great line. But Vin Scully knew when silence was critical, and he had a couple of big calls in his life, and he gave time for the crowd and the moment to happen. And that's an art form that's lost on a lot of radio broadcasters, and even television broadcasters, for that matter, who have the images going. So I just thought Vin Scully, the Gibson call, I love. I will never forget the Bill Buckner. I mean, that might be as animated as I ever heard him get, because it was so shocking. Gets behind Buckner, and it was just an amazing call. I mean, he's obviously had so many others. Some of them I've heard, some of them I didn't. I didn't realize until he passed that he called the Hank Aaron home run. Things like that. And they've had him with World Series games. But just the longevity, if you think about this, he took over from Red Barber. He called Brooklyn Dodger games.
Yeah, taking it way back.
I mean, he saw from Jackie Robinson and Pee Wee Reese and Roy Campanella to Clayton Kershaw.
Yasiel Puig.
Yeah, I mean,
he gave the wild horse nickname
Fernando
to. Yeah.
and Maury Wills and Steve Garvey and Ron Say, all the great Dodgers. So just an amazing career. I once heard it. The Lebitard show used to have a skit where they did looks like game. And it was a funny one about Vin Scully, if you think about it. He said, Vin Scully looks like the one real person in an animated Disney movie. And he does. I don't know why that was so
I don't
funny,
know if I'm ever going to let that image leave my mind thinking about it.
You felt like you knew him the first time you heard him. He was a tremendous broadcaster and a true professional, and he will be missed.
Man, that's good stuff. Glad to have you in the building to be able to elaborate on, you know what I mean? Because sometimes that's, our generation, me and Tyler's, we don't take a lot of faults, if you will, right? We come up with.
You listen to a game on the radio. I mean, it's not the thing like it used to be.
It is not. But because of doing what I do and programming the radio and stuff, so that's an excuse.
But I guess maybe
it's
the
not
average
an
fan,
excuse,
how
but
often is the average fan? I mean, that used to be the only way he could listen. I remember my dad telling me stories about listening to Larry Munson, calling Georgia games, and he would run to the house and having to listen to a phone through a radio or that kind of stuff to even get access to any sort of game. Now you get every game on ESPN Plus.
That's another legend right there, though, too, in Munson.
Well, and funny, there's actually a Vince Scully story about Larry Munson I saw today, and that he kind of learned during the Run Lindsay Run 1980 Georgia-Florida game in Jacksonville. He hushed the entire press box, learned that from Vince Scully to let the crowd noise affect the call, and he actually attributed that to Vince Scully. So I read that today, so it was kind of a cool thing.
I love that, dude.
So many people in the South, and you wrecked my day with the news that you gave me right before we came on, which I wasn't aware of about Eli Gold, but so many people in the South identify with their college football voice and all like that, and baseball not as much anymore, although I think
there's
the few games I catch now I actually
Yeah.
do catch on the radio, but I always felt like Vin Scully was talking with you, not at you. And there is a big difference in that, and a lot of broadcasters now talk at you. And you felt like just listening through, if you closed your eyes, that he was sitting right next to you talking with you about what was going on. So
I love the way that you're pointing, you're making your point there, and I wonder how much the rat race of society, the rat race of trying to get to that next level, affects that. But then we're talking about people who are doing this at the professional level, and where else do you go from there? So
well, what's changed it more than anything is the soundbite nature of today, whether it's getting a highlight on ESPN or Twitter, certainly, or any short video format like that. Everything is about the sensational, quick 5-second call, something like that, instead of painting the picture of what you're seeing in the game, which is more of an old-time broadcaster's mindset. So I understand it. I just prefer to sit down and listen to just somebody that smooth. And Vin was one of the few people who could do both. I mean, he didn't try to, but some of his sound bites were just legendary. So.
Yeah. Wow, man. A legend, truly.
Yeah.
A true legend. I mean, we're talking about a guy who might be more famous than anyone. And we're talking about a roster for the Los Angeles Dodgers that is star-studded. Vin Scully might be, surpassing all of those guys in the terms of legendary status. And the other one we were talking about was Eli Gold. The famous Alabama Crimson Tide broadcaster, not only done NASCAR, he's done hockey for Huntsville. name a sport Eli Gold has done it, he will miss at least the first portion of the 2022-2023 season due to health reasons.
Right.
And Chris Stewart is going to be taking over the play-by-play duties from here on out, which he's a legend in his own
Chris
right
is
as
very
well.
good. I mean, they're not going to drop off much, but man, it's going to hurt not hearing Eli.
Can you imagine? Because you guys know how it is, right? You're watching ESPN highlights, and what is or you're watching the game of the week on CBS, right? And what do they do at the end of the game?
Love
they always
it.
give the hometown call for the highlight of the game.
Best thing CBS does, other than the song. The intro song is the best thing
Do you think ESPN gets that whenever they get whenever
They better. That was what I said when they got the deal. I don't care who gets it as long as they take the song with them, but I bet they don't, and that's going to hurt my feelings. But they do that. Going to the key play of the game and going to the radio call is that's the way to do it. And Eli wasn't the only Alabama broadcaster I've heard in my life. I am old enough to have heard some John Forney and some Paul Kennedy, but
Eli's all I know.
Eli, I think he took over full time in '88 or '89. So for the majority of my time, certainly the big moments, I mean, I would turn the TV down, listen to Eli.
Yeah.
I still do.
I do that with Braves games a lot of the time because there's just such a difference in the radio world than there is in the TV world. And one of the things I love about it is the description of the jerseys, right? When you're watching on TV, you don't need the commentator or the play-by-play guy to describe, the white stripe down the helmet, crimson helmets with the white numbers, what's going in the terms of Braves, the red lettering with the blue trim, and every time I love that that picture being painted in a way that really only that guy can do it, because if you take another guy, it could be a premier type broadcaster or whatever, he's still not going to describe it in the same manner. And that's what I love about radio and love about the chance that I'm about to be able to get the opportunity rather calling Mosley football games. I mean, I wish I could hold a candle to any one of these guys. You know what I mean? But that's let me say that. Let me rephrase that. They put a lot of time and effort into making these things seem as seamless, even though behind the scenes I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's funny. You listen to these guys show up, the Larry Munsons at Georgia and John Ward at Tennessee and Jack Crystal at Mississippi State and Kaywood Ledford and Eli Gold, guys like that. It's funny how you pick up on things that become signatures for them. Like, I always loved Eli. First of all, his voice would go up about 8 octaves when he said touchdown, but then he could make Alabama take forever. And I just
word in the dictionary that
absolutely love that when he would call it like that, and just, I mean, that's what I want to hear. So that's why I'm, man, you just ruined my day with that news.
I'm telling you, especially when it comes to Eli Gold. Back when I used to work at Pompano's, I was rolling sushi, and I was riding a bike at that point in time. So I was living in town, riding a bike across the bridge daily to get to work. And on Saturdays, I mean, I've to be honest with you guys, I have quit jobs over not being able to stay home and watch the game or whatever. Anyway, so I would listen to those games, riding my bike across the Hathaway Bridge, and just, man, so many things sticking out. Yeah. But what you just said there, that Alabama, that
it's amazing. Something that simple.
Right.
I've got goosebumps now.
And I've been doing a lot of study on play-by-play broadcasting and stuff, and trying to watch on guys. And one of the ones that stuck out to me is Eli Gold, but because he stuck out to me before all of this.
Sure.
But I was watching. I can't even remember the guy's name. He used to do play-by-play for the Oakland Raiders at the time. Okay. Now he does it for the San Francisco 49ers. And I was watching his kind of day-to-day, behind-the-scenes type thing, and one of his things was touchdown San Francisco type, same type deal. And it's so interesting to me how just the more simple that you make it it's Kiss all over again. Keep it simple, stupid.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean? And that works a lot better than trying to be the star of the show, because the star of the show is the product that's happening on the field.
The best guys understand pacing, and so many people when they start out, I mean, I was in this a little bit, so I know what you're about to be going through. But the pacing is so difficult because you're excited and you want to race through everything. And you want to say so much. And so many times just slowing down and taking a pause is so critical. John Ward at Tennessee, as much as I hate University of Tennessee, John Ward had some great calls where he'd be like 5, 4, 3, 2. You know what happened. Touchdown. I mean, it was that kind of pacing. And even when I hated Tennessee, I was like, all right, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Good call. So, yeah, it's going to be different, but no, Chris Stewart, very capable, has filled in for Eli before, and he's going to do a great job there. I just hope we get more of Eli than we don't.
And you are listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We are going to be your home for the Auburn Tigers again. College football just right around the corner. We're getting stoked for it. So stoked to the point that Tyler was like, dude, can I start coming in some? Because we're getting close, and it's a lot of fun to talk college football with your buddies. We're starting the season off September 3rd. Now, I do have a scheduling conflict here, guys, and I want you guys to be able to, not just you guys, but the listeners, right? Because we put these games on the air for the listeners. I have 2 games that I can propose to you that we play. We could play Mercer and Auburn. We're an Auburn affiliate. We're going to play the majority of their games. Or I could play Notre Dame, Ohio State. To me, that's tough.
I get it, the allegiance to Auburn, but I mean, like, the games, if Auburn is a halfway decent team, that Mercer game should be, what, like 55-8?
And if they score 8, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, but I mean, like, maybe the Ohio State Notre Dame game ends up the same way. I mean, what do we expect out of Marcus Freeman year 1? Is Ryan Day, year 4 now for him? C.J. Stroud coming back. They lost the 2 wide receivers, but
that's
still
crazy
got
that
Harrison and all that
Urban's been gone from Ohio State for that long.
I think this his 3rd or 4th year?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's crazy to think about that. And last year, I mean, with the Jacksonville Jaguars and the young lady,
Urban Meyer error there in Jacksonville.
Let me pitch a different idea to you.
Okay.
Run the Auburn Mercer game on the radio, because you can listen to Andy Burcham while you're watching the Notre Dame game on TV.
That's not a bad take there. But 850-215-6290, you guys let me know what y'all think. I know that the Auburn fans, I know what the answer is. But if I get an overwhelming response of please run that Notre Dame-Ohio State game, then I think that's the way that we got to go, because we do this for the listeners, not for ourselves.
Let me put it to you this way. Andy Burcham can make Auburn Mercer interesting. The television can't.
That's a good point. That is a very valid point. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. It's 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're going to take a quick timeout. We've got a great show planned for you. Alan Watson, owner of Golf Plus, coming up next. Steve Barnes, senior writer for therebelwalk.com at 4:30. Then we're going to get into our first-year coaches, who we think is going to do the best, who we think is going to do the worst. Moving on to our college football conference winners this year. Todd Mueller joins us at 5:15 with PCB coins and cards. We'll have the NFL divisional winners and how we think those divisions will play out, and then some dark horses for not only the college football playoff, but the Heisman as well. And that's kind of hard to come by because it looks to be a 2-horse race, but we always say that. Who thought Joe Burrow was going to win the Heisman? Before that year, no one did.
He was an afterthought.
Nobody had Devontae Smith either.
That's another great point. Could it be another non-quarterback this year, especially in that University of Alabama? We're going to take a quick time out.
Alabama.
It's the 5-year flyaway from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Ron West, you just won the 5-year flyaway to see the Atlanta Braves.
Oh, good gosh almighty. Oh, I lived there in Georgia. My wife and I was there when they went from last to first in 1990.
Oh, man.
And, well, you just saved my heart. I'm an old Buford, Georgia boy.
We're sending you home, Ron.
We're sending you home.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Spotty showers and thunderstorms for your Wednesday afternoon. Partly sunny skies near 90 and a south wind about 10 to 15. Water temperature in the Gulf 87. Those showers and thunderstorms will continue overnight. Partly cloudy in the mid to upper 70s. More showers and thunderstorms Thursday near 90 degrees. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Since 1955, Buddy Gandy's Seafood Market has been providing their customers with the freshest seafood in Panama City. Whether you're cooking something small or hosting a big get-together, Buddy Gandy's has you covered with a variety of fish, oysters, shrimp, crab legs, live blue crabs, a steam bar, and more. They'll even clean your catch for you. Open 7 days a week near the intersection of Beck Avenue and Highway 98. Don't forget to mention 104.3 ESPN for your 10% discount. Visit Buddy Gandy's Seafood Market on Facebook.
The original J. Michael's Restaurant on Thomas Drive, Panama City Beach, serving Bay County and visitors from the U.S., Canada, and around the world since 1976. A little Southern, a little Creole, and a lot of hospitality. Come enjoy J. Michael's Seafood Platter, red beans and rice, the best gumbo on the beach, and the world-famous spaghetti night on Wednesdays. 3210 Thomas Drive, J. Michael's Restaurant.
We all play a role in keeping our community safe.
Every day, we move in and out of each other's busy lives.
It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good, others not so much.
But that's life.
It's when something doesn't seem quite right that it's time to pay attention.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
He listens to Post Malone. He drives a Honda with ground effects and has Pennsylvania tattooed on his right tricep.
You're looking at a bad man.
David Hayes is part of the Afternoon Underdogs, live from the Rib Crib Radio Room, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes. We've got Brian Haddad. We've got Tyler Bishop in the Rib Crib Radio Room with us. And on the phone line, we've got the owner of Golf Plus. I'm talking about Alan Watson. Alan, my friend, how's it going?
It's great, man. Everything's lovely. How's it going with you guys?
I'm doing fantastic myself, feeling a ton better. Can't speak for Brian right now because he just found out about the news of Eli Gold, and I don't know if distraught is the correct adjective.
It's not enough.
Yeah, I was about to say it might be an understatement. Devastated there. But
what did I miss? What did I miss about Eli Gold? Did something just happen?
No, it actually it happened this morning. He's not going to be calling at least the first half from what I've read. He's not going to be calling the first half of the games this year due to health reasons.
Oh, well, that's definitely different. I mean, I grew up, for the most part, listening to him, and, well, I don't say when I was a really small child, but you know what I mean, because I'm older than you guys. But, yeah, that's terrible, man. I went to school at Alabama, so that'll be interesting. Have they named who's going to do it?
Yeah, Chris Stewart's going to be taking over the play-by-play duties. And who else is in the booth? Is it John Parker Wilson? I know. I'm pretty sure he was in there with them last year.
Yeah, I think it probably will be. I'll look that
up. So Alan, what's the latest and greatest that we got going on with Golf Plus?
Well, it's been very busy. A lot of fittings. The weather's still nice and warm, and people are still playing a lot of golf. So we are rocking and rolling at both locations with fittings, with repairs, with just all kinds of stuff. Obviously, down here at the beach, we're not seeing quite as many tourists as kids have started to go back to school all over the country, but still pretty good traffic. And you know, people, like I said, people are still playing golf. It's still golf weather.
And it will be for the foreseeable future. In fact, maybe even better, in my opinion. Not only do the rates go down just a little bit, but
it's not 130 degrees outside.
and the rain is less likely to just pop up out of nowhere.
Yes. Yeah, we haven't been having those 3 to 5 showers per day that we were having there for a few weeks. So definitely a lot better. In fact, I'm sitting on my back porch right now just looking at a glorious Florida, Gulf of Mexico weather day. I mean, this is perfect. It doesn't get much better than this.
Alan, I know you're not into, golf course management per se, but I'm curious because I've been around the Southeast a lot this summer, and in several places that I've been, courses have been closed or they've been having to do some issues with greens and all that. Is that a factor of the real heat we've had this summer, or have you heard about that being worse this year than others?
No, I don't think it's any worse than normal, to be honest with you. It's normal. Greens really only last, depending on the quality of the green and how much play and what kind of grass and the temperatures and all that. 10 years would be kind of cruddy, but it has happened. Some places have to redo them every 10 years, but 15 to 20 max. 20 years is a long time. And, we don't think about our lawns that way, but our lawns don't get trampled on like golf courses do. Right. And so when you have grass that has been cut and mowed and rolled and, walked on and trampled on and dealt with so many times every single day for years, it eventually just sort of gives up, and you have to go in and either replug them, or you have to completely resod them. There's just a lot of things that can happen, and then sometimes you just have weird instances where you get some type of fungus or a bug or something that comes in, and then all of a sudden you're in deep trouble and you've got to fix it. So I wouldn't say it's any worse than any other year. I definitely have heard about some courses having some problems, but this is, it's normal for courses to have to do maintenance several times a year. And the heat down here, although it's hot, it's been hot for years, so I don't think it's changing it too much. But it is frustrating when you go to a golf course and you drive a long way and then you find out, we've got, our greens are plugged, or we've had to do more maintenance, or we're using temporary greens or whatever. Those kinds of things can be frustrating for the average golfer, and it's just, but that's part of course maintenance.
Definitely kind of seems comparable to the roof on a house.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. You can't, you're just, again, if a golf course gets enough play, it's going to need a lot of maintenance. And we keep talking about, people come in all the time and tell me about courses, different course conditions at different places. And, my theory has always been, it takes two things to run a golf course, money and knowledge. And if you don't have both of them, if you only have one or the other, or if you don't have either one, you're in big trouble because, my lawn looks green most of the year and I don't even know what I'm doing. I can't even imagine I can't imagine what it takes to keep a golf course going. Mine's pure luck, right? So, but to take care of a golf course takes a lot of money, and it takes some knowledge, and there are people out in the industry that, that really know. In fact, like for instance, there was a greenskeeper in Dothan that was the assistant at the Dothan Country Club for years and years and years. Great guy. And he took the head job over at Fort Rucker on the military base, and that course had suffered for years and years and years. Dave came in, Dave Plunkett's his name, came in, and I don't know if his budget got increased or not, but I know that Dave knew a lot, right? He had the knowledge side of it because he's been around for a while, and he turned that place around, and it's amazing. So the knowledge for sure, but then, of course, you've got to have the money as well. So it takes a lot.
So Greg Norman said that the offer from Live Golf to Tiger Woods, the one he rejected, was between $700 and $800 million. Tiger hasn't even made.
I'll go. Sign me up. I'll go.
Yeah, I know, right? He give me a very small percentage of that, and I would be just as happy.
Take $800.
Yeah, right. So I don't know. Are you surprised about that? Tiger didn't even make that as far as career earnings directly on the PGA Tour. Now with his endorsements, he's over $1 billion at this point in time. But were you surprised when you heard that number? Not necessarily him rejecting Live Tour, but that number.
Yeah, I thought the number was probably just guesstimating closer to like $500 million, like 500, not the 7 to 8. 7 to 8's a lot. That's career-ending money at that point. You just don't have to do anything. But Tiger's always been in a position, or at least for the last several years, to where he never really has to set foot on a golf course again, and he's going to make a lot of money. So I think it's not surprising. I think they knew they had to throw a huge number at him just in case. I think the real challenge there is, obviously with all the different issues that he's had, some his fault and some not his fault, how many years can he play? Will he play? How many events per year? That would be an awful lot of money, to watch him maybe play 2 to 4 times a year, because I don't anticipate him coming back and playing 12, 15, 18, 20 events a year. I just don't see it unless something turns around. So I think that was a little crazy number-wise, but maybe that's what they thought they had to do just to even get him to, listen for 5 minutes. But his allegiance is definitely to the tour. He knows that that's part of his legacy, and where these other guys don't necessarily care about that. And I'm not being disingenuous at all, but I'm just saying, some of these guys are like, hey, I made my money there, and I'm going to go make my money here. I think Tiger feels tied to the tour more than some guys, and I don't think there's any number they could pay him that he would leave. I don't know what y'all think, but I don't think he would leave no matter what.
I mean,
if he's not leaving for that, I think it really shows you how much just Tiger Woods' name means.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't, like you said, he may not have played but 4 or 6, events a year, but having Tiger Woods instantly legitimizes that league. Yeah. And that's what they're paying for, I think, as much as anything. It instantly gives it credibility.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, if you put him out there and you say, this is Tiger Woods' home for golf, is Live Tour, it's almost like he's a spokesperson whether he plays or not,
It'd
right?
be like bringing Tom Brady to the USFL.
Yeah.
It would instantly make that league more.
Yeah. No, I could see that. I mean, I see that, but I just don't think that he's that interested in it. And also, he may do like a lot of sports people, whether it's coaches or players or whatnot, he may just use that as leverage and go back to the tour and be like, hey, these guys are throwing me an awful big check. Yeah. What do you want to do next time I decide to strap on these cleats, So
I need $100 million per major I show up to.
Right.
I
mean, there is some,
Yeah, I think Tiger's at a point where, unlike all these other guys, this isn't more money than he's ever made, and it's huge money. But he's beyond that. Tiger's chasing ghosts at this point. He's chasing Snead. Yeah. He's chasing Nicklaus. All he cares about at this point is the legacy he leaves, and he wants nothing to get in the way of that. So he doesn't want to attempt to deal with anything about not possibly being able to play a major or this, that, or the other. Everything now is about what is it, 82 wins and then the 18 majors and all. So, Tiger's in a unique situation.
I 100% agree that, and I know that's not good for sports talk radio. I know we're supposed to yell at each other and argue, but I totally agree. Tiger's always been, he grew up with, Jack Nicklaus on the wall of his bedroom saying, that's the guy that I have to try to not just emulate, but beat if I want to have my name in the annals of history as the greatest of all time. So when you're trying to do that, you can't change lanes midstream or especially late stream now in his career. He can't change lanes and still accomplish that. So for him to do the thing that he's wanted to do since he was a child, you're absolutely right. Live Tour just doesn't work for him.
Hey, Alan, man, I'm out of time for today. Thanks so much for giving us some of your time. And everybody listening right now, if you need your golf clubs refitted, you got a new set that you want to fit you the correct way, there's no better place other than Golf Plus. You can go visit them at the shops at Edgewater, or also if you're up north 231, head on over to Dothan. They got 2 simulators now, so they can work twice as fast. Alan, thanks so much for giving us some of your time, my friend.
Thanks, guys. Y'all are awesome. Have a great day.
Yes, sir. You do the same, and you are awesome as well. We're going to take a quick timeout. Steve Barnes is on the on-deck circle.
It's the 5-year flyaway from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Ron West, you just won the 5-year flyaway to see the Atlanta Braves.
Oh, good gosh almighty. Oh, I lived there in Georgia. My wife and I was there when they went from last to first in 1990.
Oh, man.
And, you just saved my heart. I'm an old Buford, Georgia boy.
We're sending you home, Ron.
We're sending you home.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hear that? That's the plumpest, juiciest hot dogs you've ever seen getting their grill on. But we both know what'll make it sound even better. Oh yeah, it's a Pepsi to go with your hot dog. Because when you're chomping on America's favorite meal, relish, mustard, and onions perfectly blending into a crescendo of flavor, there's only one thing that makes everything about that moment better. A cold, refreshing Pepsi. One mouth-watering sip is all it takes to make this whole experience go from pretty good to jaw-droppingly, table-poundingly incredible. Don't believe me? Just listen. See what I mean? It's like music to my ears. And if you'll excuse me, I have a date with the 2 most beautiful things I've ever seen. Or heard. Hot dogs. Better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Buffalo Rock Company in Panama City is currently accepting applications for delivery merchandisers, as well as other positions. Please apply online at buffalorock.com/careers. Buffalo Rock Company is an equal opportunity employer. It is Buffalo Rock Company policy to provide equal employment opportunities to all qualified applicants, without regard to race, color, religion, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, national origin, age, protected veteran, or disabled status.
Hi, I'm Anne Margaret. I went to Vietnam to entertain the troops in 1966 and 1968. My guys, my gentlemen, if you lived through the Vietnam War era, you know the impact that the war had. But today, we are in danger of history being lost. Current generations know very little about the war or the people who served it. As more of our Vietnam vets pass away each day, their stories are being lost to history. Together, we can change that. The Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund is the organization that built the wall. It works to ensure that future generations will understand the war's impact. Let's help keep the promise that the wall was built on. Never forget. Visit vvmf.org to find out how you can get involved.
When the sun sets on the Emerald Coast, the freaks come out and play.
Hi, I'm a recovering crackhead.
Hand me that shotgun.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Get on your knees!
Live and local inside the Rib Crib Radio Room on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, and you're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're also on 102.1 FM in the Mariana area. And we've got Steve Barnes on the line with the senior writer for the RebelWalk.com. Steve, my friend, what's going on? How's your day been?
Oh, gentlemen, trying to unpack some first day of practice stuff. Every team in the SEC, I think, had their first day of practice today except for Vanderbilt, because they play in week 0. And, well, kudos to their administration. Their first game's at Hawaii. So,
starting the bowl games early.
I was about to say, let's face it, Vandy's probably not going to go to a bowl game, but if you polled most college football players and you asked them, would you rather go for a week in Hawaii in August or go to Mobile for a week in January? I don't know. I'd be in that long line getting my passport stamped.
Lending Tree or Honolulu?
There you go.
Steve, Steve, this is Brian. Good to talk to you again. Mobile's my hometown, and I wholeheartedly agree.
Well, hey, I worked for the Bay Bears for 2 years.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And just to let you know, you were talking about Vin Scully. My heart goes out to you because I could hug you right now, buddy. But in '98, we had a second baseman named David Newhan.
Okay.
His dad is Ross Newhan, who wrote for the LA Times since 1955, and he covered the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And he's actually in the Baseball Hall of Fame. And he would come to see his kid play. And he would sit there in the press box and just tell all of us Vin Scully stories.
Yeah.
And it was the coolest thing in the world.
I can imagine.
And also, you mentioned Eli. Let's just say I'm not on this Christmas card list, but that's okay. You missed a name, though. Jim Fife.
Yes.
You missed Jim Fife from Auburn.
I did miss Jim Fife. I mean, he was, just going from Jim to Rod Bramblett, and, of course, the tragedy with Rod.
Think about this. When Jim was there, the Auburn network was Jim, Rod, Andy, and Barry McKnight, who is now at Troy, who's been the voice of the Trojans for 20 years. That's a pretty good lineup.
Oh, that's a great room. I mean, that's unbelievable, right? I didn't realize all 4 of them were there together. Good gracious.
I'm loving this history lesson I'm receiving right now. This is a lot of fun. You guys just keep on chopping it up, man. No, seriously, I'm eating it up.
No, I need to get my scouting report on Ole Miss first day of practice so I can call Coach Leach here after this is over. So, what you got, Steve? Talk to us about day one here.
Believe it or not, the first story I'm writing is about Lane Kiffin's dog.
Juice.
He talked more about Juice than anything else. But they brought in Altmaier, they brought in Dart to talk about the quarterback, controversy, and they both said the same thing. It's like, hey, we're buddies, we're trying to do what we can. and, the media's making all this. Well, they're right. And what y'all were saying about the soundbite with broadcasters, a lot of times in writing, it's clickbait now.
Mm-hmm.
So get that quick thing out there and get somebody to click on something else on your site instead of writing the whole story. And, when I was working for the Montgomery Advertiser as a beat writer, at a game site, I had to write a game story, a sidebar, and a note package.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for, well, I'll say it, Rivals.com, and they told me never write anything longer than 3 sentences a paragraph and nothing more than 5 paragraphs a story. How do you tell a story in 15 sentences?
You don't tell the story. You just give the a long version of the headline.
Exactly. They just click on something else.
The long-form article is unfortunately dying off.
My favorite articles to read. I feel like I
Yes,
learned so much more from the long articles.
Absolutely, you do.
I mean, if you go to our site, we had one of our writers, Patty, did a story on Keith Carter, the AD, at Ole Miss. And this thing goes on and on and on and on. And even I was thinking, it's like, wow, how long does this go? But I kept getting more information and more information. It just made me nostalgic for newspapers.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
And that's something else. Like my boss we've got a good crew. Dave, Leanne, our recruiting director.
Yeah, Leanne Herring.
Yeah, we got her. We have David Walker, who played quarterback at Texas A&M. During the season, he does a quarterback breakdown each week. And you're going to learn more about quarterbacks in 15 minutes reading his stuff than you will from 20 hours of watching it. He's just that good. We have a great photographer, Amanda Swain out of Memphis. She has got the best eye that you're going to find. Bo Pentecost puts it all together, and our boss, Evelyn Van Pelt, just keeps us all in line.
Hey, that's what a good boss should do. So Steve, you just brought up Leanne Herring, who is the director of recruiting. Talk a little bit about why you hate reporting on recruiting.
Oh, Lord. I had to work. Well, I had to. I worked for Rivals.com for a couple of years. And the big thing about Rivals is they want the ratings, and they just want to talk about recruits.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, you're asking me to rate this kid? I'm not a coach. So, yeah, this kid, he looks good to me. Is he a 4-star or 3-star? Well, let's give him 3. I don't know. It's like, okay, well, whatever. And the other thing is, these are 16, 17-year-old kids you're talking to. I had 2 of them just out and out tell me. Trent Richardson, he's from Escambia High School over in Pensacola, where I am. And he said, well, I'm going to Texas. I'm like, really? Why? Well, when I always played, it's not Madden for college, whatever that video is.
Coming back next year.
He's like, yeah, I'm always Ricky Williams or I'm always Earl Campbell. I'm going to Texas, and I write it.
Uh-huh.
He goes to Alabama. TJ Yeldon, I have him on video.
Yep.
I'm asking him. It's like, okay, now you got the Cam Newton stuff going on, the Scam Newton thing, as they used to call it. And he goes, no, I talked to Coach Chiswick, and he says, that's nothing. I'm definitely going to Auburn. I write it. He goes to Alabama.
Yep.
So, I mean, they're 16, 17-year-old kids that you're talking to. When I was 17-year-old at Tate High School, going through the lunch line, I changed my mind 4 times if I was going to have the pizza, a hamburger, or the entree.
Y'all had a lot of choices back then.
Oh, man.
Steve,
for like 85 cents.
Steve, the morning show I'm on sometimes on Wednesdays, and probably 90% of that show is college football and recruiting. And I get Coach Hale all angry at me in the morning because, he says, Alabama's got, 18 commitments. I said, how many of them have signed?
Bingo.
I mean, these kids, commitment doesn't mean anything anymore. It's driving me nuts.
Well, last week, Ole Miss had their last summer camp for all these guys, and 3 of them committed to Ole Miss. And, I mean, we did a big story. It was a big story. Yeah. They all committed. But I kept telling my boss, that one is like, talk to me in December when they, give us an autograph.
But see, I think that's what it is. I think it's the story. I think these kids are addicted to their names in the headlines, and I think that's why they're constantly just, I don't even think it's them changing their mind anymore. I think they just like seeing their name in the headline, so they're going to reopen their recruitment or they're looking here or whatever. I don't know.
See, I thought that about Jackson Dart, who transferred to Ole Miss. He's a big-time recruit out of Utah, signs with Southern California. And then I think he misses some of the, the praise. He wanted to be courted. He wanted to be the pretty girl that all the guys talked to. Right. And all of a sudden, I'm going to go in the transfer portal. And he waited as long as he could before he committed because he wanted to go to these places and eat their steaks.
Yeah. No, that's true.
I wonder, how big of a factor do you think that having someone Hollywood, if you will, like Coach Kiffin, helped landing a guy like Jackson Dart?
I think it helps that he showed that I can go to a small town in Mississippi and fit in and really not have to. I'm not the show. I can go to McDonald's, and it's not a big deal. You need to fit in.
I like that. That's actually that's a great take.
I mean, let's face it. Like I'm going to write later, the most famous face in the Kiffin household right now is Juice the dog.
when it's not Coach Kiffin, $700. Oh, that was a great video. That was a great video. So kind of, we brought up Jackson Dart, who's a transfer. What's your opinion of the Pac-12 Commission's idea about the unlimited transfer rule?
Well, I think that's pretty much got laughed out, the mainstream media, as they call it. But just thinking that, I thought of a scenario where Bo Jackson said in high school he wanted to go to Alabama, but he got recruited by Alabama, and they said, well, as long as Coach Bryant's here, you're not going to play until the end of your sophomore year, your junior year. And Pat Dye at Auburn said, hey, you come here and compete, and if you're good enough, you'll start as freshman. He goes, I'm going to Auburn.
Yep.
All right, he goes to Auburn's freshman year. Beats Alabama, like the recruiter said you'll never do it. He beats Alabama in 82, and Coach Bryant retires and dies about 2 months later. He could say, well, you know what? I always wanted to go to Alabama. I can go to Alabama now. Then he gets there and finds that Ray Perkins is there, and let's face it, Ray Perkins, not a good fit. Plays there his sophomore year and says, wait a second. Herschel Walker just skipped his senior year to go to the USFL. Now I can go to Georgia. So he goes to Georgia for his junior year, and he likes it, but he's, I want to play baseball too. And Georgia's baseball at the time wasn't that great. Wait, I can go down to Tallahassee. FSU's in the top 4 in football for 15 years, and they go to the World Series. I think I'll go there for my senior year. So if you had that rule, Bo Jackson could have played at 4 different colleges. Now he gets to the pros. How do you feel if you're an Auburn fan, or an Alabama fan, or a Georgia fan, or a Florida State fan? Who claims them?
Well, Auburn, right?
Well, I guess. Well, whoever's trying to get alumni money, I guess. But,
well, Hugh Culverhouse still would have tanked him.
But the way I look at it, the way a scholarship should work is there's a kid who played at Ole Miss for 5 years. His name was Momo Sinogo, a linebacker. He came out of Plano, Texas, as an 18-year-old. Got to Ole Miss, got a degree in finance. Tore his Achilles, played an extra year, and got his MBA. Decided to use his COVID year, and he transferred to Louisville because they have a master's program that Ole Miss doesn't offer. This kid, 6 years out of high school, is going to graduate with a degree in 2 masters. That's the way a football scholarship should be used.
I like that.
That's right.
I like that. Steve, we are out of time for this segment, man. Definitely want to touch base with you again next week. You always come ahead. There's the one about your sports writers' war stories, talking about the coolest place that you've ever covered a game and the worst ones that you've ever went to. I want to dig into that next week. Maybe we have to set aside 2 segments for that one. Seems like it'll be a lot of fun. Steve Barnes is a senior writer for therebelwalk.com. Steve, thanks so much for giving us some of your time, my man.
Hey, guys. Have a good day.
Hey,
See you,
you
Steve.
do the same. We're going to take a quick timeout, and when we get back, I'm opening up trivia. How many NFL head coaches in the league are younger than Tom Brady? Give me the answer, and we're going to be giving you some great prizes. And we're also going to get into first-year coaches, who's going to be the best, who's going to be the worst.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has the real local fishing report. This is Tim from Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle. Join me every Thursday afternoon at 5:15 during the Afternoon Underdogs and Friday mornings during the 6 a.m. hour. It's accurate, concise content from local anglers right here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Lulu's Bar and Resto at Laketown Wharf is the perfect place to eat, drink, and relax. Enjoy a delicious dinner lakeside made with special ingredients. The kitchen is open late until 1 a.m. After dark, the good vibes keep flowing at Lulu's with themed parties and live DJs every single night. Lulu's Bar and Resto, open 7 days a week from 2 p.m. until 2 a.m. with availability for private events and birthday parties. For a complete menu and party schedule, follow Lulu's PCB on Facebook and Instagram.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies, as well as new and vintage cards. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 633 North Highway 231 and can also be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
Guthrie's Golden Fried Chicken Fingers on Panama City Beach. Fresh, never frozen chicken tenders fried to perfection and served with their famous signature Guthrie sauce. Guthrie's box, snack, and chicken sandwich are sure to please. And for larger gatherings, try the family meal or Guthrie's Chicken Finger Bucket. Let Guthrie's cater your next event. Find their daily specials on Facebook on Front Beach Road across from the Beach Shopping Center. Since 1965, fresh, hot, and fast. Now available on DoorDash and Uber Eats.
PCB Coins and Cards is the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, coins, and trading card games. PCB Coins and Cards carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Coins and Cards has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel, rookie, game-used, and autograph cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? Bring it in and let us take a look. We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Coins and Cards on Back Beach Road just east of Florida Linen. Call them today at 850-320-8388.
Live from the Rib Crib Studio. The mission?
Your mission, should you decide to accept it.
Save the panhandle from boring cookie-cutter radio. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs.
The state will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
All right, we are back. We're inside the Rib Crib Radio Room. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes. We got Tyler Bishop. We've got Brian Haddad in the building with us. How many NFL head coaches are younger than Tom Brady? Before I get to the caller that's on the line to try to answer this question, and the number to me is very surprising, even though happy birthday, Tom Brady, 45 years old. We are opening up our fantasy football recruitment, if you will. The Champions League has been set. I've sent the emails to the invites. How it works, I've got the 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida North League. I've got the 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida South League. And then we have the Champions League. So the top 4 from each league compile the Champions League. So I have about 22 spots. Now, if you cannot make the draft, which is going to be at Dave & Buster's, August 20th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., there is no sense in even signing up. I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
It's the first time in 2 years that we've been able to hold a live draft. So if you can't make the live draft, let's not waste each other's times here our time, because I don't want to have to replace you last second. and try to get someone else out there at Dave & Buster's, but Dave & Buster's is being generous enough to give us a private room here for this event, so this is going to be a lot of fun. All you got to do to get into it, 850-215-6290, express your interest via text that you want to get into the league. I'll take your name down, we'll get you into the league, and then one of these days before August 20th, we'll have a mini draft essentially, and we'll draft teams to the north and to the south. All right, we got Texas Ken on the line. Ken, how many NFL head coaches are younger than Tom Brady?
He is older than 4 coaches.
That is not the answer. In fact, it's in the double-digit land. Thanks so much for the call, my friend.
Wow. Yes, sir. You're welcome.
Yes, sir. 45 years old. In fact, Kevin O'Connell and Cliff Kingsbury were Tom Brady backups. And these guys, Cliff, what's he coaching the Cardinals for? What? 4 or 5 years, almost like Ryan Day. Yeah, yeah. So this has got to be year 4 for Kyler, right?
Well, he just got his extension, so
he's coming into his 4th, isn't he?
Right, he'd be going into his 4th because he would have had another year, and rookie contracts normally go about 4 years. So very interesting there. How many NFL head coaches are younger than Tom Brady? The answer is in the double-digit land. Let's get into some first-year coaches in the college football world here, and don't forget to sign up for fantasy football, 850-215-6290. If you think that you're solidified or not, if I don't have your name in that text system, it's not working out the way that you plan it to, so let's make this happen the correct way this year, guys. Live draft at Dave & Buster's. I'm stoked for it. First-year coaches, best and the worst. Tyler, start me off here.
I think the easy first is Lincoln Riley. I think the Pac-12 is kind of up for grabs. You got Oregon in flux. Utah's supposed to be pretty good this year. I saw a stat this year or earlier today. They're projected to be favored in every single one of their games this year, which is kind of incredible coming from a team like Utah. But I think Caleb Williams coming over, the talent they got out there. I think there's a good chance they have the best. I think outside of that, you're maybe looking at Brian Kelly just because LSU still has the talent. But I think the worst is going to be Napier at Florida, and I know people are going to think this is a Georgia thing, but they don't have the talent that I think they're going to want out there. I think the biggest thing is they started with 4 pretty tough games. They got Utah at home, they got Kentucky and Tennessee as 3 of their first 4 games. I think it's Utah, Kentucky back to back. That's 2 physical teams. I mean, that's a tough 1-2 to open with, and if you start losing those 2, then the outside rumbling starts. Because he already had to apologize to the fans. He hadn't even coached a game yet, and they were pissed off about his recruiting, and he had to hold a press conference saying things are not as bad as they seem.
Well, but how much do you think that has to do with the way that Dan Mullen was dealing with recruitment?
Oh, it's 100% a carryover effect. But the fact is, if they're already kind of antsy with him,
right?
And they picked up some recruits, so things are getting better. They're looking better on that front. But I think they've got a tough 4 games. I mean, we saw what Heupel's offense could do to teams last year. I mean, when teams adjusted, they adjusted. But if they can't, they won't. And I think his style of play, it's a very slow run-based game. It's not going to be a high-flying Steve Spurrier, Urban Meyer thing. And I don't think this is I don't think he's got the good talent to run it. I think Anthony Richards is a great talent, but I don't know if he fits that scheme. And I think he's going to struggle a little bit. I think you could be. I mean, they're over under win percentage, or from Vegas is like 6.5, 7.
Well, and then the opposite when you talk about their first game of the year in Utah, right? And someone in the group that me and you were in, Tyler, shared today teams who are favorites throughout the regular season. Alabama and Ohio State are double-digit favorites throughout the year, but Utah is one of those guys who right now are favorites throughout the season. Only got a minute left here. I've got Barrett on the line with us. Barrett Townsend, you're on the air. How many NFL head coaches are younger than Tom Brady?
I'm going to say 13, if I'm not mistaken.
13?
Yes, sir.
Ding, ding, ding. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, man. I'm not giving you a chicken dinner, but possibly some Mexican food with barbaritos. Actually, don't even do me a favor. You don't got to text. I got your number. I'll hit you up. I'm thinking we're going to go with I gave barbaritos yesterday, so I'm going to do that boot store. I'm going to do a Pineapple Willie's t-shirt. And how about a family 4-pack to a wrestling event August 13th?
Oh, heck yeah, man. You know me too well. You got all the top places right there, especially that boot store. You know I'll be looking good in my boots.
Hey, there we go. All right, so I've just given away 4 tickets to Extreme Impact Wrestling August 13th. I've got more tickets to give away as well. Barrett, thanks so much for the call and look forward to having you on the show with me and Tyler next Tuesday.
Look good.
All right, man. You have a great afternoon. That's Barrett Townsend. He is your winner for today. We're going to take a quick time out. When we get back, we're going to continue on with this conversation, and we'll see what happens with the college football conference winners as we go on.
It's here. The 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida app version 2.0. Now featuring ultra high fidelity. You'll feel like you're in the game. Plus, more opportunities to win weekly prizes from local businesses when you click it to win it. Download the 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida app today at Google Play or the Apple Store.
Spotty showers and thunderstorms for your Wednesday afternoon. Partly sunny skies near 90. And a south wind about 10 to 15. Water temperature in the Gulf 87. Those showers and thunderstorms will continue overnight. Partly cloudy in the mid to upper 70s. More showers and thunderstorms Thursday near 90 degrees. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Is your mouth watering yet? We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Hit me with the sound effects again. Ladies, gentlemen, if you're feeling the way I'm feeling, we should both go get us a piece of that cheesy, beefy perfection with a delicious, refreshing Pepsi. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Buffalo Rock Company in Panama City is currently accepting applications for delivery merchandisers, as well as other positions. Please apply online at buffalorock.com/careers. Buffalo Rock Company is an equal opportunity employer. It is Buffalo Rock Company policy to provide equal employment opportunities to all qualified applicants, without regard to race, color, religion, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, national origin, age, protected veteran, or disabled status.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs, with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5, and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food, on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
This is where history is made. WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Mariana, powered by Pepsi. ESPN Northwest Florida. Live from the Rib Crib Studio. Hot takes, the latest trades, in-depth interviews.
That is my reaction.
We break it down for you right here.
Very big springboard for the rest of my career.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
That's the problem right there.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
We're back. We're inside the Rib Crib Radio Room. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. And like I said, fantasy football got about 22 spots to fill out. First come, first serve, 850-215-6290. You guys text in. Make sure that you're going to be available August 20th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Dave & Buster's. The live draft is going to return, and I'm excited about it. We did the live draft the first year I was ever with this radio station. We did it at Beef O'Brady's, and then the COVID hit, the pandemic, and so we haven't been able to have a live draft the last 2 years. We're finally being able to bring that back. I'm so excited about it. Working on getting the draft boards now. We do have private rooms, 850-215-6290. The Champions League is set, and your whole goal when you get into the North or the South League is to get to the Champions League. You gotta play, man, because I remove people when if you don't take care of your roster, you're not a true, serious fantasy football guy. And we're looking for true and serious and competitive fantasy football players. 850-215-6290. Let's keep it rolling here with the first-year coaches, the best and the worst. Brian, what do you got here?
Well, before I get into this, I have got to read this story.
Okay.
Rutgers football. Season tickets are available at Costco for 38% off.
Wait, Costco's selling Rutgers season football tickets?
I am not making this up. This is hysterical. Rutgers season tickets, $99. That's 38% savings at Costco.
Better than going on sold at that point, right? Like, I mean, it's...
Oh, I love Outkick. All right, so let's get into.
Hey, they do a pretty daggone good job.
Look, I could agree with her. I'm going to give two other ones that I had right there just to disagree, I guess. I'm going to take Marcus Freeman at 1. It could easily be Lincoln Riley, but I'm going to take Freeman because I think he's got Notre Dame kind of ready-made. The quarterback situation, they got to figure out just a little bit, but I think that's a solid team of players that he knows. He's been there. Well, they love him.
It's that continuity of him being the defensive coordinator that kept Tommy Reese as the play caller.
Right.
They're both back, so it's more seamless transition than coming in.
And I'll take, just this year, I think I'll take Notre Dame in a heads up with USC, and maybe that'll decide it. So I'll go with Marcus Freeman at the top for this year. At the last, I'm going to go with Sonny Dykes at TCU, and not because I don't think he's a good coach, but I think the fallout from the way Gary Patterson was run out of town is going to be bigger than people realize. It's almost a little bit like what you were discussing with Florida and Mullen.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some fallout on Napier with that. Of course, Napier starts with 2 brutal games, too, even though they are at home, but I think Sonny Dykes is going to deal with some of that, too. I think that program's going to be in a bit of an upheaval, and I think it's going to take a while to get that ship righted. So while I agree Florida's going to have a difficult go of it, I'm going to go with Sonny Dykes there at TCU.
That is hard being the guy replacing a legend. I mean, Gary Patterson was TCU
He was there
football
forever.
For most of,
our lives.
You have to understand.
Does anybody know anybody like the coach before Gary Patterson?
Yeah, I do actually.
Well, yeah, but come on, you got a decade on us over here, Brian.
Dennis Francione is who Gary Patterson
Francione.
took over. When Francione left to go to Alabama.
Yeah.
That's who Patterson was on his staff. I believe he's defensive coordinator, and he took over for him going into the bowl game. I remember.
Was Francione the coach when we beat Texas Tech in the Cotton Bowl when Jamie Christensen hit that knuckleball kick to win the game?
I am not.
I can't remember. Maybe it was. I can't believe what I'm about to say, but maybe it was Mike Shula.
Well, if it was Shula, then it was Patterson.
Okay.
Shula came after Francione.
No, I was
or as we called him, fifth choice Ione.
Fifth choice Ione.
But
did you give now with Napier? That was your worst. Who was your best?
I think it's going to be Lincoln Riley. I think the Pac-12 is going to be up for grabs to an extent. I think Utah's going to be a good team. I think Dan Lanning is actually going to do some pretty decent stuff in Oregon. They've got some talent on that defense. Sewell's brothers out there. They've got another big time. Names escape me at the moment. A couple big time linebacker recruits they stole actually from the southeast, heading out that way. I think he's a little young. He's going to be a little rough around the edges, but I think he's a guy that's eventually going to do big things for him out there. So I think going forward, I think Riley Lanning is going to be a really fun heads up duo. But I think Lincoln Riley year one.
Well, for a couple of years.
Yeah. There's a dark horse in this, in that I really don't think they're quite ready yet. But because they're in the ACC and because he's got a quarterback, Cristobal at Miami could have a big year.
That would be my dark horse. Yeah. My most interesting was going to be Dan Lanning.
Yeah.
Because first off, the way they're starting the season off, all right, former defensive coordinator goes to Oregon, taking over a program that's not too shabby in Oregon, who's got Mario Cristobal was the former coach over there and now is creating a lot of buzz around Miami. Maybe that's the NIL money, whatever it is, but he's still creating buzz. And we're talking about a team here in Miami that's the total polar opposite of Auburn, right?
Yeah.
Auburn started out, 6-2.
Yeah.
Lost their final 5.
Yeah.
Miami started out 2-6, and won their final 5, basically. So there is going to be something to monitor there. I'm 100% on board with Mario Cristobal being the dark horse here. Dan Lanning being most interesting.
ACC is, so say Clemson has average quarterback play again like they had last year.
Right. DJ Uiagalelei.
They got the freshman Cole Klubnik.
Klubnik,
But if they get average quarterback play again this year, they're just as vulnerable as they was last year. And they almost lost to Florida State. They lost to NC State. They lost to Georgia, obviously. They had some really tight games against teams they probably shouldn't have. Yeah. If they had that same kind of team, why couldn't a team like Miami come up and beat them at that point?
Yeah, I think that's true. My most interesting is Venables. At Oklahoma because
Oklahoma's finally going to have possibly a defense.
Well, and they're replacing some parts, but Dylan Gabriel's a very effective quarterback, and Jeff Lebby coming in as coordinator, that's going to be huge. So if they can gel.
Well, Lebby spent time at UCF with Gabriel before he got in between. So that helps with that.
Everybody sees Oklahoma and what they lost, but they picked up a lot, and you're right. If they can just play some defense in the Big 12,
it changes the whole persona of the Oklahoma Sooners.
So Venables that could go a million different ways, but to me, it's the most interesting. It's the one I'm curious about.
And you're talking about a team who's on the precipice of coming to the SEC, and what do you need to have? You have to have defense to come into the SEC, and so to get 2 years in the kind of lackluster defense that the Big 12 has been known for, and to bring defense to that,
although
who knows?
I do have to say that's changing slightly because what Dave Aranda's done at Baylor, and even with Gundy, Oklahoma State had a pretty good defense.
How about that?
Ohio State. Oklahoma State's defense coordinator.
Yeah, but now Derek Mason's in there.
Slides over there. That's it.
And it's a lot easier to run defense over there than it is Vanderbilt or even Auburn. As far as what last year went, because there was so much turmoil, in my opinion, going on with the Auburn Tigers. So for me, the best coach coming into their first year, I'm gonna go with 2 surprises here. I'm going to say Brian Kelly's going to surprise a lot of people this year because he's finally, and it's not even his first full year, right? In a sense, even though it is a full year, but give him some time. I think Brian Kelly, LSU, there's going to be something special happening there. For me, until Caleb Williams is not the quarterback at USC, this is going to be the downfall of Lincoln Riley. You can be in the weaker, if you will, Pac-12. That's fancy and all of that good stuff. I don't have 1% of belief in Caleb Williams. I didn't believe in Spencer Rattler. I didn't believe in Caleb Williams. And what Caleb Williams did when he came in, you look at the stat line and there's nothing that just jumps out to you like, wow, this kid's great. There's really not, at least to me. Yeah. And so everyone is on this high horse of USC making the college football playoff and stuff. And I'm like no, I see them improving, right? Because they go 3-9 last year?
Can't do much worse, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're going to win 4 or 5 games this year, but you're not winning 9.
Right.
You're not winning 9 at USC. So for me, worst coach first year because there's such high expectations is going to be Lincoln Riley.
Without their schedule in front of me, I could see them struggling a little bit. I don't know their schedule off the top of my head, but
and neither do I. That's such a big factor, right?
Oregon State, Arizona, right?
When we see these transfers and these freshmen come in, we see the talent, but you've still got to get a team to gel.
They got to play together.
And Lincoln Riley's been with Caleb Williams, but there's a lot of other pieces that he's added. He added guys from Auburn, from Alabama, I don't know. Oregon could be a tough out for them, but it's winnable. Utah could be a tough out for them, but it's winnable. Notre Dame is winnable. Every game on their schedule is winnable. That's all you can ask for. But if you're asking for
75% are also probably losable, right?
Right. If you're asking for a first-year coach with a lot of transfers and to win all of those are on the table, I don't see that. I think 7-8 might be more reasonable. We'll see.
I do like the Brian Kelly pick. I think it's going to be interesting. You may not like the guy, and you say what you want about what Notre Dame did when he was there, but the guy's won.
I still think that's going to be the best long-term one. Multi-year pick. It's going to be Brian Kelly. He's been good everywhere, and he's at a place that will put the resources in that it takes to win. So,
Let's move on here. Great conversation right there, guys. We do got Todd Mueller coming up next. We're talking PCB coins and cards. If you got any coin collecting questions, card collecting questions, we've got the guy that's gonna bring you the answers. 850-215-6290. If you're a fantasy football player, then you need to go ahead and give me a text. This segment has been brought to you by Bay Handyman Services. They listen better, they plan better, and when you do those two things, you build better. 850-753-5014 is the number you can reach them at. They've got 24/7 emergency services. You can make that happen at bayhandymanservices.com. They hold a 5-star rating. They'll do anything from hanging pictures to full house remodels. Let's talk about some conference winners here. And, rattle them off. We don't got to be too quick here, Tyler. But, Tyler, what do you got for the ACC, the Pac-12, the Big 12, the Big 10, and the SEC?
I'm going to have to go, as much as I don't know if they're going to be there, I'm going to go Clemson. I think it's a safe bet. If I was betting money, it'd be Clemson, I guess, right? I still think that quarterback position is a huge question mark for him, but there's a lot of loss, especially out of Pittsburgh and a few teams like that in the ACC. Maybe a team like Miami sneaks up, but I'll go Clemson. Pac-12, I'll go Utah. I think they're going to be a good team this year. Big 12 is a big, interesting one. I mean, it could be Texas if Sarkisian's for real. Texas should make that year 2 jump. If it's Oklahoma with Venables, we're talking about how interesting that one's going to be. Oklahoma State, Baylor. I can't say I know enough about the rest of them to really say for sure. I'll go Oklahoma, safe pick. Big 10, I think is pretty easy. Ohio State. SEC, if I'm betting money on, I'm putting on Bama. I think you got Bryce Young, Will Anderson.
This is coming from a Georgia fan, everybody. Just like, this is coming from a Georgia fan who was at the national championship last year.
I was there. 2017 too. That one was not quite as fun for whatever.
Is it egregious that Saban called last year a rebuild?
You know what? I saw that headline. He's not wrong. I mean, think about what they lost in 20.
But what have they been? They've been doing it for every year, though.
That's kind of where I live.
That's what I mean. He's not wrong in that it's a rebuilding, but he had pretty darn good products to rebuild.
I feel like it was almost like a slight at Kirby Smart in Georgia in a sense, and I don't like that.
Sounds like a sore loser to me. I don't know. What do I know?
I hope it's 42 more years. That's all.
42. The first man to coach to past 100.
I have been alive for both of them though, so I did see them. But
I think Georgia will be there in Atlanta to play him. I think it'll be Bama, Georgia again. I think it'll be another close game.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, they'll give me the better quarterback in a toss-up matchup.
It's hard to pick against anything you did there. I mean, Clemson, I actually think Clemson's going to be much improved. They got Brissy back. That defense is going to be solid, although not having Venables is going to be interesting. Pac-12, I'm going to go with Utah until someone shows me different.
I love that.
Big 12, I'm going to go with Oklahoma State. They were a yard away last year. I like what
a game
he does.
Maybe one of the best games of the postseason last year.
I remember watching that game leading up into the SC title game last year. I couldn't believe what was happening.
Baylor's going to be good. They lost a couple key guys, but they're going to be good. Oklahoma and Texas should be in the mix too, but I'm going to take Oklahoma State if I'm betting now. You got to go Ohio State in the Big Ten, and yeah, I think you have to go Alabama this year. Unless they really get bit by the injury bug, they should be the favorite. Georgia will be very good, but Georgia has a few more questions to answer right now than Alabama does, so I'll go that way.
I love that. ACC, when it comes down to it, I think Clemson is the obvious answer, but I like to stray away from the obvious sometimes and go with a guy like Sam Hartman and Wake Forest and see. I mean, they didn't get the job done against Pitt last year, but maybe they can get it done this year. So I'll go Wake Forest for the ACC. In the Pac-12, I would love to see Oregon and Dan Lanning do it. However, when you brought up that name there in Utah, it kind of makes the most sense, right? So I'll go Utah, Pac-12. Why not? Big 12. I think that it comes down to your two teams here of Oklahoma State and Baylor again. The outliers, obviously, Oklahoma and Texas. I would love to see Texas get it done. I would love to see another guy off that Saban tree and Steve Sarkisian get the job done. However, Sanders coming back, I'm going to go with Oklahoma State there. Big Ten, Ohio State, don't think of as much of a discussion this year. I think, last year I did call Michigan to beat Ohio State, but the only reason I had was because they were so quiet going into the season, and they had never been quiet heading into the season. So I'm going to go with Ohio State. So much vengeance on the line for that squad. CJ Stroud, another year deeper into it. That wide receiver core is going to be stupid nasty. And then in the SEC, I'm going to go Bama, but here's my thing. I do believe in what Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs have been building and have built to the resume of a national champion now. I believe more. Yeah, they lost a lot to the NFL draft. I believe in that ability of Kirby Smart, what he learned from Nick Saban. You lock and you reload.
It doesn't matter what happens this year. It's a rebuilding year for us, right? To quote Saint, so it doesn't matter.
Hey, I agree.
Good stuff there. We've got Todd Miller coming up next. Oh, with PCB coins and cards, that caught me off guard. I was not ready of that. If you got any questions about coin collecting, about sports card collecting, about the Pokemon, Digimon, all of that stuff, give us a holler, 850-215-6290. I like pina coladas. You should too. We're going to be right back in just a few short moments.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is the Panhandle's destination for the Atlanta Braves.
Got him, swinging strike three.
Ozzie Albies, Austin Riley, Ronald Acuna Jr. and the Braves are back.
Unbelievable.
And hungry for more. Listen to the world champion Atlanta Braves on a world champion radio station.
Rosario knocked the living daylights out of it.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Spotty showers and thunderstorms for your Wednesday afternoon. Partly sunny skies near 90 and a south wind about 10 to 15. Water temperature in the Gulf 87. Those showers and thunderstorms will continue overnight. Partly cloudy in the mid to upper 70s. More showers and thunderstorms Thursday near 90 degrees. This weather forecast has been brought to you by KHS and Associates, your source for affordable health insurance. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Great design is timeless, and that's why Tracy's Fine Jewelry inside Coin and Bullion Reserves offers a stunning selection of vintage, antique, estate jewelry on sale now at 40% off. Exquisite Victorian rings, Art Deco diamond brooches, Georgian and Art Deco bracelets, earrings, and pendants. These one-of-a-kind pieces add personality to any ensemble, and now at 40% off. Find your timeless treasure at Tracy's Fine Jewelry inside Coin and Bullion Reserves.
That Boot Store invites you to stop by and help celebrate the opportunity to live in the greatest country on God's green earth, the good old USA. That Boot Store is proud to carry the highest quality American-made boots, along with a complete line of Western accessories. Next to Billboard Kia on 15th Street, open Tuesday through Thursday 9 till 5, Friday and Saturday 9 to 5:30. And remember what Joe always says, put Jesus in your life every day.
It's the cooling season, and time to call Steverson Air Conditioning for your preventative maintenance to keep your air conditioning system operating at full capacity. Steverson Air Conditioning has preventative maintenance programs, and they service all makes and models. Steverson Air Conditioning offers air duct cleaning. Steverson Air Conditioning has after-hours service and free estimates on a system change-out or duct cleaning. Call them at 248-1109.
The number one SEC call-in show is now twice as big. It's double the Paul Feinbaum Show. Weeknights starting at 6.
Okay, but also go faster.
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. Live from the Rib Crib Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
You want to talk about something that is wonderful? As PCB, coins, and cards, we've got Todd Mueller in the building with us. Todd, man, I didn't get to speak with you last week, but we've got you back in the building, and you were in the building last week, but you had Adam Goff, Caveman Rick, great guys. We've got you here, though, on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. What's going on? What's the latest and greatest things happening with PCB, coins, and cards?
Turn me on.
There we go.
Radio
there
101.
We go.
All right, good to see
I just
y'all.
wanted you to sweat a little bit.
Glad to be here. Very beautiful day again. Everything's been going great. We've been at the shop working, organizing, getting stuff put together. Brian has been by a couple times. That's been fun, and helping out. And so, anyways, things are going really good, guys. We're having a lot of good success with our promotion. Come by the shop and talk to us about our promotion. It would be great. And then we've had a lot of success with people bringing cards in to get graded. We've been submitting a little bit more from this location, so that's been really nice. We are still looking for a helper, a card generalist, as we call them, somebody to help sort cards, somebody to help eBay, ship cards. We're pretty excited about that position. Still needing some more people for that. And that's about what's been going on at the shop. Coins have been coming through the door. I bought 4 or 5 collections yesterday, so that was a lot of fun. Bought a sports card collection today. That was cool, too. So if anybody's looking for any new stuff, we've got plenty of new stuff. We've been putting
It just keeps rolling in, don't it?
And we've been switching out. We've color-coded stickers on a lot of the cards, so we know how long it's been in inventory. We've kind of upgraded some inventory stuff too, as far as what we're always switching stuff out. In fact, we had a customer come in. It was someone just passing through, and they said, "Man, this is so great. You have some of these cards out here." He said, "Most card shops that I go to," and he said, "I go to a lot. They're just sitting in the back, selling stuff online, and they don't have anything good in the store." And I said that was one of our main goals, was to make sure that our inventory was always stocked very well, and we had the current players that everybody's looking for. So if you guys have, for football, you have Joe Burrow, you have Justin Herbert, any of the hot name rookies, Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence, any type of cards that you're looking to get rid of, rookies, stuff like that, we are looking to buy. Also, of course, there's basketball and baseball cards as well. We're always looking for vintage, and we've been doing very good. We have been getting a lot of great reviews. Our Google reviews are up significantly, and we have a lot of 5-star reviews, so we're pretty excited about that too. So anyway, so that's what's going on in the shop, and that's what's been going on lately.
That awesome as always. Now, real quick, kind of touch on the PCB coin and cards policy for reviews. Like, if you're not necessarily 100% satisfied with what's going on, how would you like them to handle that?
Absolutely. So we hand out review cards to people all the time, and what it does is it has a QR code on it. And so we want people to know that you can just image that QR code on your phone, click the link, and go straight to our Google reviews. If you have anything less than a 5-star to give, I would appreciate you either coming in or calling me. You can reach us at 850-320-8388 and discuss it with me. I'm Todd, obviously, as you guys have heard many times already. And if you have any issue or any problem that you feel you need to address with us, please do. Address it with us instead of leaving a review. Yeah. Because in my opinion about reviews, not that anybody asked my opinion, but I'm going to tell you my opinion. My opinion about reviews is that it's the chicken way out if you leave less than a 5-star review. Mm-hmm. It's the chicken way out. Don't be a chicken. Come in and talk to me. Let's sort it out so you do feel like you have a 5-star review to give.
And you always have great stuff planned for us when you come into the building as well. Absolutely. So what's going on today? Where are we at?
All right. So, again, we've talked about through many things. I talked about the National last week a little bit. It was a great success this year again. I had several friends and people go there. One of the things I really wanted to talk about today was the card show coming up. So we have a card show August 27th. That's Saturday. It's Saturday only in Daphne, Alabama. Daphne, Alabama is just across the bay from Mobile.
You can get some throwed rolls.
Yeah, absolutely. Lambert's is down in Foley. Yeah. You're absolutely right. And I do love that place.
That is good.
So anyway, so we have the show. It's the 27th. It is going to be free admission. Typically, we charge $5. This year, we decided to go ahead and go with free admission.
Awesome.
So we're going to let everybody in for free. You don't have to just be 13 years old. You can get in as an adult free. And we want you to bring your collectibles. It's sports cards. We're going to have Magic, Pokemon, trading card games, which is called TCGs. We'll have TCGs there. We'll have, like I said, sports cards, football, baseball, basketball, non-sport. Non-sport. We call non-sport like hockey, soccer. I mean, it's not a non-sport; it's a sport. But we call it non-sport as
a little bit.
Well, anybody who is into those type of things, nerd.
I'll take that with pride. I'll take that with pride.
Anyways, so we'll have all different types of stuff there. Yeah. So anyway, so it's going to be a fun time. So I wanted to promote that a little bit today, talk a little bit about that, and see if anybody had any questions about that. If you're in Panama City or Panama City Beach, that's about a 2.5 to 3 hour ride over there. It's not bad, and you'll really enjoy it. Bring your stuff. Bring your suitcases full of cards and different stuff. And there's going to be plenty of vendors there that can look at your stuff. They'll be buying, selling,
trading even, right?
Trading. Everything will be going on. It'll be just like coming into the shop. You can buy, sell, trade.
Yeah.
And we have a really good time. And there's a lot of good people. We do have security there, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to be showing up for that. There's probably going to be about 60 to 70 tables sold. That'll be filled up with vendors. And so you'll see a lot of great stuff and a lot of cool stuff. So please.
Is there a timeline of about what time it starts, what time it possibly ends?
So most dealers and vendors will be there around 7 to 7:30. We'll get set up. 9 a.m. is typically when we open admission. We're also probably going to have somewhat of a magic tournament, a sizable one. We call it like a 1K up to a 5K. And what that means is the prize pool is $1,000 up to $5,000.
5,000 people. I'm like, goodness gracious.
So we'll be giving away prizes for that, and you'll be able to enter online for your ticket for that. You can show up the day of though and play as well, and pay the day of. So you don't have to pre-register, but we'll have a pre-register open probably by next week for that, and gives a few.
And the earlier you register, the earlier that you get in the table, or however that works.
You're on the list earlier.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
Basically. So we typically have food there. I believe we still will have food there. So everybody needs to know that, especially for the people who enter the tournament who are there all day. There will be food there. And that's pretty much it as far as that goes. Wallace Gilberry, I believe, will be there doing some signings. And he will have a table as well. So I believe that's going to be going on. And again, lots of good dealers and stuff like that. There'll be lots of memorabilia there too as well. So you'll be able to buy any memorabilia and or sell memorabilia if you want to as well. So that's the show in a nutshell. And that's pretty much it for that. But that's very important to us, and it's a very good show. So I think everybody needs to show up for that.
Card shows are so much fun. Just really seeing everything and just the variance of things. And I know one of the things down at the shop we're working on because I'm trying to help out where I can, is expanding kind of the singles aisle and different things like that, and getting some local interest stuff out there too. I mean, Dave, I know you picked up some Bama guys like I have.
Oh, yes.
We came across some JJ Blade stuff,
yes,
and we're trying to get him highlighted out there
absolutely.
as well.
I have one on my desk right now, a rookie of his, and so we're going to card that and put that out. And so one of the things that we can do when we expand, and so I did order the 12-foot table.
Okay.
We have a 12-foot table coming that's going to be our center table. Instead of 6 feet, we're going to double it to 12-foot capacity, and we're going to separate out more items. So there will be a football section, so to speak. There will be a baseball section, and so on and so forth. And with that having been said, we will highlight some things in our cases, too, as more of local people or local things. Because a lot of people come in and ask for Braves and Alabama. And, of course, some people ask for the Rays, and some people ask for some of the Florida State and some of the teams like that. So we really like to expand into having a little bit of a section. Now, we're not going to go as crazy as alphabetical order.
Right.
Everybody would love that, but that would take a million years.
I mean, and then by the time that someone gets there looking through it, then it's all messed up. Man, that's so awesome, because you had Nick Nelson last night throwing against the Bravos.
Right.
You got J.J. Blade. You got Roman Quinn. I mean, the list is very long.
Austin Riley is smoking right now.
How much did that new contract that he got kind of blow that up again?
It changes daily. Yesterday, we had a guy come in and say, you have an Austin Riley. Of course, Bill went crazy looking for it. Couldn't find it. It was on the desk that he had left it. Anyways, we ended up finding it, and so a guy came in today and bought it. So people are asking for the hot people.
Spencer Strider, I'm sure, is a very
and we
popular
put some of
name.
that out.
Michael Harris, yeah.
Right, exactly. So we put some of that stuff out, and it's been very important to have those sections and know where our inventory is that people are going to ask for.
So it's not like it used to be in the terms of you'd get the 3 or 4 football products that were all there, just about to drop now because football season's about to come out. They happen all through the season, but are you still? Is now the time people are getting anxious for football cards again?
Super anxious, and that's the funny thing. I have I shouldn't say this on the air, but I have a hidden box in the safe of a bunch of football rookies, high-end stuff, good stuff, and we don't have it out. There's a reason I don't have it out. We're not in football season.
Yeah.
The second football season starts rolling around,
that value just
value's going to
starts climbing like an escalator.
So I show a select amount of people that, and get them to to come in and view some of the stuff. But it's
salivate a little bit.
It's usually trades that we do for high-end stuff.
Yeah.
And so I did trade a guy a couple cards out of it today for a group of cards that he had, but one of the cards was a Mac Jones autograph rookie. I mean, you're talking about a $600 card. So if somebody brings in some big stuff, I'm going to be willing to pull out the big box.
Yeah. The big boy box.
And it is a big boy
I've
box.
seen a portion of, not the football side of things, but the PC of the, and for those who don't know, that's personal collection. Of Mr. Todd's here, and just blown away, scared to touch the cards. That's what I was.
Yeah, there's some good stuff in that group. So anyways, it's been a lot of fun, but that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to streamline some things. We've done a much better job of getting our pricing together, getting our pricing on the wall, making sure that you can see the pricing, so you don't have to ask a million questions, because it was just price stickers at first. We've evolved 180 degrees from when we started, and that was 4 months ago.
Yeah.
So we are down, we are running, and we are rocking. So we're super excited about that. So that's what I say. Come into the shop and take a look, because things are changing all the time. And number one. Number two, bring your stuff into trade, because we need new inventory. It's how we keep it fresh. We keep getting new inventory, so we keep switching stuff out. And then number two is come check out our promotion that we've got going on.
Yes, definitely go do that, because I promise you one thing. You won't be disappointed.
Right.
You will not be disappointed.
We are, so everybody knows who's listening, who's a customer, who's bought from us and entered the promotion that we have going on. That will be this Friday. This Friday at 6 p.m. We're going to let everybody know who's won in our promotion.
So we still got the promotion.
So we started over. We started a new promotion. So we have a new promotion for August. So come in and listen to our spiel on the new promotion in August. The July promotion is over.
All right.
July promotion is
That's
over.
what I was looking.
Friday,
I was like, oh yeah.
So this Friday.
This Friday.
Hey, good stuff. Todd, we do have one question real quick
Go
here.
ahead.
Who won the gold coin last night?
Who won the gold coin last night? You know what? I forgot.
So there's your answer, K.
It wasn't me.
I forgot, K-Man. I want to say it was Avocado Cartel, but you know what? That might not have been. That might have been the first giveaway we did the night. I don't know. There were so many people on. Yeah. It got crazy last night. I do want to, if you got 2 more seconds, we had our 1,000 follower giveaway for our coin whatnot.
Wow, let's go.
Yes, let's go. Exactly. And we had 188 people in the stream at one point last night. It got nuts.
That's crazy.
It got nuts. And we sold through 106 items last night and gave away a 1/10-ounce gold coin valued around $250. So it was a good night.
You're making them sweat. You're making them sweat, man.
So we had a good time. It was a lot of fun, and we gained a lot of followers. Awesome. I'm going to do something even bigger on our 2,000 follower giveaway.
Let's go. Y'all get out to PCB Coins and Cards. It's on Back Beach over there by Florida Linens. If you're headed westbound, you're going to have to bust a quick U-turn. Not a problem at all. It's got a great parking lot, very spacious, so there's plenty of places to park, and you're going to get lost in there. First-hand experience, you're going to get lost in there, and you're going to have to tell yourself either you come in there with an amount of money that you're going to spend, or you might want to watch yourself, because you're going to go broke by the time you're leaving.
You might want to bring some money.
Great stuff.
I'm just saying.
It is great stuff. Hey, Todd, thanks so much for giving us some of your time today, man. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to get into the NFL divisional winners. We'll be right back in just a few short moments.
This is your captain speaking. Thank you for flying with ESPN Northwest Florida. Please return to your seats, buckle up, and prepare for launch.
It will lay down. Base hit. Here comes Ronald. Braves win it.
The defending world champion Atlanta Braves are sponsored by Bill Burr Kia, Beltway Portable Buildings, Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, Ellis Agency Insurance, and ESPN Northwest Florida. And we apologize for any turbulence you've experienced this season with the Atlanta Braves.
Spotty showers and thunderstorms for your Wednesday afternoon. Partly sunny skies near 90 and a south wind about 10 to 15. Water temperature in the Gulf 87. Those showers and thunderstorms will continue overnight. Partly cloudy in the mid to upper 70s. More showers and thunderstorms Thursday near 90 degrees. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Hi,
I'm Bobby Likas with today's Car Clinic Minute. Making it to work on time may be hard, but the journey itself doesn't have to be. When I come back, I'll provide some commuting comforts that'll make your 5 o'clock horses easier to ride.
The Car Clinic Minute.
It's Bobby Likas Car Clinic, brought to you locally by Hewitt Tire and Auto.
Call 850-769-7323.
Your certified AAA service center and hometown towing.
Visit them online at HewittTire.com.
On Airport Road in Panama City.
That's 850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and hometown towing.
So what creature comforts do commuters crave in their automotive beast of burden? Per Edmunds.com, comfortable seats and well-designed cup holders make the ride in the saddle physically cozy, while in-dash CD players and wheel-mounted radio controls allow ample entertainment with minimal hassle. In-console PowerPoints and hands-free voice-activated phone systems make it easy for office-bound pilgrims to do a little business before they arrive. And since feeding the horses under your hood can take the gold right out of your saddlebags, good gas mileage can really make a difference between an old gray mare and a red-hot pony. I'm Bobby Likas. Like us, you'll love us.
Broadcasting from the Rib Crib Radio Room. You're riding shotgun with the Afternoon Underdogs. We're going to need some gas money. The Afternoon Underdogs.
Fill her up, please.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are live inside the Rib Crib Radio Room. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. 850-215-6290 is the number to text, or you can call us and talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. We always take calls, and they're always great calls. And we also have the Auburn Tigers this year ready for a great season of Auburn Tiger football, and also 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida will be under the Friday night lights this year with me and Kyle Wright doing play-by-play in color for the Mosley Dolphins this year. Cannot wait for it. But if you want to get into some fantasy football, August 20th at Dave & Buster's from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., we're going to have our live fantasy draft. If you're interested, 850-215-6290. Go ahead and text in, and then we'll put you into the pool to be drafted from either the ESPN Northwest Florida North or South League. I've got two of them going, got about 22 spots. Well, after today, probably about 14, 15 spots, and they're going to go extremely quick. Let's get into the NFL. I've been talking a lot of college football today. AFC South, who's the champions here? It's really, it to me, seems like a two-horse race. Yeah. Could be the Colts with Matt Ryan, Jonathan Taylor. Who knows what the wide receiver core is going to really flourish into for the Colts this year, or the Tennessee Titans, who have won it the last two. Give me your thoughts and takeaways from this, Tyler Bishop.
I'm gonna go the Colts. I think Matt Ryan's the better quarterback between him and Tannehill. But it's gonna be interesting to see what Ryan does this year. This is the first year that he hadn't had really an elite weapon or two on the. I mean, he always had Roddy White, Julio Jones, Tony G when he first got there, even Calvin Ridley last year, Kyle Pitts. He doesn't have that this year. I mean, he doesn't. I mean, Michael Pittman's a good wide receiver. He's obviously got Jonathan Taylor, who was one of the best running backs in the league last year. But so it'll be interesting to see how he kind of adjusts his game to that. But I think the Colts are going to be a slightly better team. It's going to come down to maybe it's like a 10-7, 9-8 type deal, but I'll give them a slight edge.
I like that. I don't have any problem with anyone picking the Colts this year. I mean, you talk about the quarterback situation that the Colts have been dealing with in the last 3 years, really since Andrew Luck retired. They go Jacoby Brissett, then it went to Phillip Rivers, and then Carson Wentz, and now Carson Wentz is with the Commanders, and now they pick up Matt Ryan, who would not be an Indianapolis Colt this year had Deshaun Watson not been courted by the Falcons. Speaking of that, the NFL has appealed that decision. They are looking for a 1-year suspension. If you guys want to get into that, I'm
I'm more than fine getting into it. I hope that he gets the 1-year suspension just because I'll give you 2 reasons. One, he said he didn't want to settle, and then he ended up settling with, 24 of the 25 ladies. And then on top of that, the way that the Browns, I almost said Broncos, the way that the Browns worded and made that contract happen to make it such a small amount that he was getting paid in his first year, I think it's absolutely disgusting. I don't think that it's necessarily a true admission of guilt, but the writing's on the wall.
I really don't want to go too deep into this because we've talked Watson for 2 years now and not about football, but to me...
He said, I don't want to... Okay, I'm going to go.
Well, I said too much. I don't... If it's been handled in court, criminal court, civil court, and the Browns don't have a problem with it, I don't really care. I understand the NFL's got an image too, but to me it's more about the Browns.
Yeah.
If the Browns don't feel like it's harmful to their image and they're ready to play, I don't think he shouldn't be able to work because of it if it's been adjudicated already in court. If they felt like they need to do something else for their image and their brand, fine. But I don't care. I mean, 6 games is fine, a year is fine, nothing, whatever.
I'm kind of with you on the point of like the way they structured that first year of the deal to be $1 million of the $250 million, like that. That to me was just kind of a really poor way of going about it. I think that, like you said, it wasn't an admission of guilt, but it showed like, hey, even if you are guilty, we're gonna kind of play our card. You know,
I think he's a dirtbag.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean I don't think he should be playing. If he's good enough, let him play. If you want to play him, if you don't want to play him, don't play him.
AFC South, who you got? A little bit easier. I gotta go
with the Titans just because I lived there. But no, I'm a Titans fan. But it's a situation of, I think the Colts could just as easily win that division, but they need to show me.
Yeah.
Ryan's new. I understand he's a great quarterback, but you're right. Some of the weapons he doesn't have anymore. It's a new system. It's a new setting. And the Colts have had opportunities before and fallen on their face late down the stretch. So until they show me they can beat the Titans for that division, I'm going to take the Titans.
All right, AFC North, what you got, Bish?
I'm kind of liking the Ravens this year. I think the Bengals, I mean, they beefed up the offensive line with Lyle Collins. The defense is going to do some. They drafted Dax Hill out of Michigan, a few good guys like that. But I saw a couple stats the other day about the Ravens. They were one of the most efficient teams without Dobbins last year. With Lamar got hurt, all this kind of stuff. And the Ravens are just consistent. I mean, when was the last time the Ravens were truly bad? I mean, I can't remember. And I think they're going to. I think when the Bengals are expected to do something, they have a tendency to not perform. And so if I was betting money, I think I'd have to bet on the Ravens this year.
Yeah, I'm 50-50 here. I'll go with the Bengals just to be different, but it could easily be the Ravens. I've said all year, I think the Bengals could be a better team this year and have a worse record than last year. I really do, just the way it lays out. But I'll take the Bengals here, by a game.
We'll say keep an eye on my boy George Pickens up in Pittsburgh. I'm excited to see what he does this year.
Well, see, that's my pick.
Yeah.
Is honestly going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Really?
I know that there's so much question marks rather around what's going to happen with, is it going to be Trubisky? Is small hands Kenny Pickett going to come in? Well, look at small hands Joe Burrow and look what happened there. And then there's also, with Joe Burrow, there was somewhat of a familiarity with the area of Cincinnati, Ohio, right? Well, Kenny Pickett, Pitt, you know what I mean? It kind of lines up. Exactly. So he's going to have a comfort zone there. And then we're talking about a coach in Mike Tomlin who hasn't had a losing season in his tenure. I love the Ravens. To me, you're 4 deep strong in the AFC North. Outside of even 17 games from Deshaun Watson, that doesn't change my opinion on the Browns because tell me the record of Deshaun Watson as a starter in the National Football League, and I'll tell you if you don't know the answer, it's 28-26.
Cleveland will be the best team at their record by far, but I think their record will look brutal just because of the other teams.
They'll be the best division. Number 4 divisional team.
Yeah, 100%.
I love that take. Moving on here to the AFC East. What do you got, Tyler?
It's got to be Buffalo. I mean, they could arguably be the best team in the AFC, maybe even the NFL, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're one of the highest favorites, to win the Super Bowl this year. Josh Allen, what he did last year. But it'll be interesting with Dayball moving on. Changing coordinators doesn't always work out well. Yeah. But,
Ken Dorsey, he was a quarterback coach last year, so maybe there is going to be that,
continuity. But
yeah.
But they added James Cook, second round running back. He's going to hopefully do some big things for him up there. I think it's easily the Bills.
It's Buffalo, 100%. The stories in the East are interesting. It's going to be how high powered are the Dolphins?
Mm-hmm.
Can Tua stay healthy? And then the Jets, not so much the beginning of the year, but what do the Jets look like at the end of the year?
Yeah.
Because they've got some good young talent in that organization.
There are some fun teams in that division.
Yeah, they're really, and then the Patriots are always interesting. So, yeah, it's the Bills, but there's some great stories in the East.
And I give the Jets a lot of trouble on this show, especially because I don't believe in Zach Wilson, but I saw a stat in the group that we shared, you guys' group, that the Jets offensive line was a top 10 offensive line.
Pro Football Focus, they were a lot better than people thought last year. That was with Becton missing most of the year.
Yeah. Right. So, maybe there is a shot there. I think that you could go ahead and not even go off of a limb and say that the AFC East is the most underrated division in all of football because, we're sitting here, no question, right? Everybody's sitting here saying Buffalo Bills. And they built a Ferrari down in Miami, but how long can that actually last? Can Tua stay healthy? But still, if he doesn't, can Teddy Bridgewater stay healthy behind that? Because it's really going to be a game of, with all of the speed that they have, pitch and catch. If you can get someone to throw the ball 7 yards, you're going to be able to get some production out of them. AFC West, then we're going to break. Tyler, lead us off again.
Got to go Kansas City. Although I will say the Chargers, that's going to be a fun team to watch this year. I think Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes, best quarterback in the NFL. Andy Reid. I think they added some pieces on defense this year. The guy to Purdue, Karlaftis or something like that.
Karlaftis.
Yeah. The cornerback out of Washington, I believe his name. I think if the defense is just a little bit better and can hold teams to 22 points instead of 24, that Chiefs are going to win most of their games. But I think Herbert, Mike Williams, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Derwin James on that defense.
Austin Eckler.
That's gonna be a fun. That's gonna be a fun team to watch. I was actually at the Chiefs-Chargers game last year in Kansas City, and it's a fun team to watch.
Yeah.
But I'm going KC.
I'm going to take the Chargers because they have to win it at some point.
Yeah.
How many years have everybody been saying they're right there?
Yeah.
Even through the whole Phillip Rivers tenure. It's now or never for the Chargers, and I think they've got the pieces. They can stay healthy if Herbert can continue his good play. It's hard to pick against the Chiefs, but, maybe there have been some changes there with the Chiefs that maybe it upsets them a little bit. But I'll take the Chargers on a heart pick, not a head pick.
I've been Chargers all off season long. I think that it's going to be Justin Herbert, third year. Yeah. Now adding to the defense with Khalil Mack, and you got Bosa on the other side of that. However, you can never count those Kansas City Chiefs out, even when it was Alex Smith. But then the transfer over to Patrick Mahomes, come on. All right, NFC coming up when we get back. If we got time, we're going to get into some college football playoff or some Heisman dark horses.
Only 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida could bring sports fans like you an app this powerful. The sports content you crave is always on. Live stream us everywhere you go. Now with upgraded programming and live game schedules, you'll always know when the Atlanta Braves and your favorite games are playing. Plus, interact with our local hosts in real time and so much more. The new app for the sports fanatic is available at the Apple Store and Google Play. From 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Island Fin Poke Restaurants presents Extreme Impact Wrestling Battle Stars. August 13th at the Travelodge Sports and Event Center, also known as the Killing Fields of XIW. Doors open at 4. Bell time is 5 p.m. sharp. Impact Wrestling star The Natural Chase Stevens, AIWF World Champion Damian Wayne, XIW Champion Jackson Slade. 225 Shalimar Street, Panama City Beach, Florida, August 13th. XIW is not sports entertainment. We are professional wrestling at its best. The Attitude Era has returned. VIP tickets are $20, includes dinner and a drink. August 13th. Now be there.
Ellis Agency Insurance has been serving Panama City and Bay County for years. They offer a full line of affordable insurance coverage of all types. Many people are attracted to Ellis Agency Insurance because of their friendly, knowledgeable staff. Call independent agent Johnny Ellis for a true comparison of your personal or business insurance. Ellis Agency Insurance at the Old Cullen Insurance location, 1134 Harrison Avenue, across from Dandy Donuts and Deli. Call 763-1627.
Earthworks of Northwest Florida knows it's a perfect time for you to update your home. Whether it's routine touch-ups or a new look, Earthworks has just what you need. Sand, stone, mulch, and gravel, pickup or delivery. Visit earthworks.com and request a quote. Discover your dream landscape with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Love the land you live on. Earthworks of Northwest Florida, 2005 Industrial Drive.
From the Florida-Bama line to the Gulf of Mexico, from the Upper Grand Lagoon to McKenzie Park, we are live and local.
Whether you like it or not, you have a gift.
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs, live from the Rib Crib Radio Room, ESPN Northwest Florida.
We are back. It's the last segment of the day. Thank you guys for riding with us. You are still riding with for one more segment, the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes. We've got Brian Haddad and Tyler Bishop in the building. Let's finish up here the NFC. Let's keep it quick here, only 5 minutes. NFC South, what you got? Start with Tyler, and we'll work our way around.
Bucks, Tom Brady. Easy enough.
Tampa, that division's awful.
Mr. 45, all over again. I'm going to NFC South, Buccaneers. NFC North, what you got there? Vikings, that's crazy.
I'm going to go with the Packers, but they win it with defense this year. Aaron Rodgers, losing Adams.
Yeah.
But I think the defense really makes a statement up there.
Love it.
Yeah, Vikings just aren't quite there yet, so Packers for me.
All right, Detroit Lions. I am interested in the Detroit Lions. I think that they win 7 games maybe this year, right?
They're going to be much improved.
Much improved, but still Green Bay Packers until proven otherwise. NFC East, maybe the closest division in the NFC this year?
I don't know. I'm going to go with the Eagles. I'm not sure I believe in Jalen Hurts. I think their defense is going to be pretty good. I think they got some talent on the outside. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith now, Miles Sanders still in the backfield, a few guys like that. But
and if we want to get bought up into the training camp stories, Jalen Reagor beat a double team, y'all.
We had to eventually. Right?
The Eagles are the trendy pick. Anybody you pick in this division, you hold your nose and pick.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with Dallas just to be that guy. But I do still like what they have going, and I'm not sure I buy into all of the hype around Philly. They've got some good weapons, but I just don't see it yet.
I'm going to go – I think the safe pick is Dallas. I'll go with the more risky pick in Philadelphia. So I'll go with the Eagles. And then the NFC West, do the champs win that division, Tyler?
Got to go with my boy Matt Stafford, Rams. I mean, I think the 49ers will be fun. I think the Seahawks are going to be pretty awful.
Yes.
Arizona's going to be interesting. But Rams.
If there wasn't the drama with Murray and his contract situation and everything, I'd like the Cardinals more than I do. But there's going to be some hurt feelings left over from that.
Good take.
So I'll go with the Rams here. And you just can't. The Niners are good, but Trey Lance, you got to show me.
All right, Heisman Dark Horses was the one that you guys were more intrigued by. So we've only got 3 minutes here. I'm not gonna waste my breath on this one, unless we have time here. But Tyler, lead us off here. What do you got as a Heisman Dark Horse?
Not even his biggest fan. I'm going with Stetson Bennett. He's gonna make it to New York. I'm honestly, I'm not the guy who delivered a championship. Makes me hold my breath every time they throw it. But the
chip on his shoulder, right?
He's gonna put up numbers. He's got the best tight end room in America. He's going to be on a national championship contending team. He's going to get the hype. He's going to have a 4 years as a starter. I don't think he's going to win it, but I wouldn't be surprised if he makes it to Atlanta or makes it to New York. I mean, I don't think Bryce Young's going to win it simply on the fact they don't want to do back-to-back.
Yeah.
So I'd honestly, if I was putting money, I'd bet on Stetson over Bryce Young for that fact.
It's a good one just because Georgia's going to be in the mix, and he's the quarterback, and absolutely.
I love
the dude's never going to have to buy a drink in Athens as long as he lives. I wish he had ridden off into the sunset personally. not because I'm worried about him. I actually think there are better quarterbacks on Georgia's team. But I understand that. I'm going to throw two at you. I want to say Will Anderson, but he's on the short list, but he is a defensive player.
Being a defensive player, it's always a dark horse.
But I'm going to throw two at you that are, interesting to me. In the same mold as Devontae Smith, I'm going to throw Smith and Jigba out for Ohio State because I think he's going to put up some crazy numbers this year. And everybody's going to be on C.J. Stroud, but you could have gone with Mac the year that Devontae won it, but Devontae just was doing crazy things. So Smith and Jigba as a dark horse at Ohio State could be interesting. And I'm going to throw one more. We mentioned this earlier. It is a quarterback's award, and if this team gets on a run and runs through the ACC, Tyler Van Dyke.
Oh, Miami.
He could get in the mix. If Miami somehow makes a run, wins the ACC, gets in the playoff, don't be surprised if he's not in the mix.
I absolutely love that. Really, the only dark horse that I could come up with, and like you said, he's not necessarily a dark horse, but because he's a defensive player, who knows what's going to happen with Will Anderson. It would be nice to see a defensive player
I would love it. I think he's the best player in college football.
It's kind of, but I almost wish they would do an offensive and defensive.
Yes.
I mean, there's no legitimate way for a defensive player to win anymore, which is fine. But let's give something for them, at that point.
But
I agree with that.
I mean, I think he's by far the best player in college football coming in this season. Do y'all agree with that?
I do agree. I mean, it's easier for me to agree.
The guy's obviously, he's going to be a top 3 pick next year, more than likely. He's going to, he was, what, 16 sacks,
I got 20 seconds here, guys. I love the Heisman takes. I love the Stetson Bennett one. North Carolina State, Penn State, Baylor, Arkansas. Out of those, who is the biggest dark horse for you for the college football playoff?
I love Arkansas. I just don't think they can get through Bama.
Penn State. I think the Big Ten's more winnable than the SEC at that point.
I love it, man. I'm a few seconds past, but Coach James Hale Show live coming at you at 7 a.m. We'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m.
Fans, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has your chance to win weekly prizes from Slim Chicken, Rudy's Barbecue, That Boot Store, Guthrie's, and Rib Crib with Atlanta Braves Trivia. Step 1, open the ESPN Northwest Florida app and click Braves Trivia. Step 2, answer trivia about a recent game. Step 3, score some tasty prizes and come home a hero. The Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast. Listen live on 104.3 in the ESPN Northwest Florida app.
Spotty showers and thunderstorms for your Wednesday afternoon. Partly sunny skies near 90 and a south wind about 10 to 15. Water temperature in the Gulf 87. Those showers and thunderstorms will continue overnight. Partly cloudy in the mid to upper 70s. More showers and thunderstorms Thursday near 90 degrees. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Golf Plus is your premier golf shop on the Gulf Coast. Not a big box or a chain store, but a local store with golf experts to serve you. An amazing array of demo and fitting products, plus a professional repair shop that can handle anything from a basic